This video is to show you how to manipulate your lists, because your lists are really a spreadsheet. I'm only going to use a few sets of data points, and I'm going to show you how to manipulate them. This will be helpful when you have a lot of data points. It's not quite an Excel spreadsheet, but it does have some of the same basic qualities to it. First of all, go to Stat and Edit and make sure you have your list there. This is my input, my X's, my L1s. L2 are my outputs, or my data outputs, my data points, and that's my L2. I want to create an L3, the points that came from my line that I thought was a pretty good fit. So I go to L3 first, and I clear out, not delete, but I clear out the list. If you happen to delete the list, you just go and insert it up here, and it will come back. It's saved, it's just not on your home screen anymore. Okay, now I could put these points in by hand because there's only 4 of them, but I want you to learn how to do this so that you can do it with a lot of data points and not have to use all that time inputting things. So go on top of L3 because that's where I want it. I go to my Y equals. I have my line that I thought was the best fit already typed in there. Go back to Stat, Edit. I go to L3 and I go to Variables now, Y variables, function Y1, because that's where I put my best fit line. I treat it like function notation. So as my input, I want all the points from L1. When I hit Enter, L3 will be filled with my best fit line that I thought it was, an Y1 with the points from L1. The next thing that I want to check out here is the difference between my data point in L2 and my best fit point in L3. So I want to do them all at once. I don't really want to do them by hand. So I go to L4, and I tell in L4 with a set of parentheses, I want my list 2 minus my list 3. Finish my parentheses. When I hit Enter, L4 will be filled with all of L1 plugged into my Y1. The next list I want is I want all these residuals squared. So I go to L5 and I just say L4, because that's where my residuals are, squared. And it will automatically do it for me, and I don't have to do it by hand. Now, there's some other things about lists that are really nice to know. Now that I have them there, you quit. If I go to Stat and I go to Sort, I can sort a list. I can sort it ascending or descending. I can clear the list here also. If I go to Calculate, I can get my regression lines. If I do Second List, then I can pull up the list as a variable. This is for my residual list. It automatically gets stored there. I'll talk about that later. There are operations I can do with my list, and again, I can sort here. I can find the dimension. I can fill it. I can do sequence stuff. But what I really want you to notice is that in Math, under List, I can find the sum. I can always find the average, the mean. I can find the median, I can find the min, the max. But the one I really want is the sum. So if I choose Sum and then put L4 in there, it will give me the grand total of L4. Second Enter does the same thing, and if I put L5 in there, that will give me the sum of L5.